Okay, I'd like to welcome all of you to our pre-show contest reporting. And I just got done playing a video. In fact, let me go ahead and share my screen. And I want to put this video on our Telegram group. So I'll just put it right here. So this video here, I'm a subscriber to the BitChute. If you want to really keep your thumb on what's really going on, you get a lot better information than you do from YouTube. So consider BitChute as a source to kind of keep your thumb on what's happening in the world, just to be aware of it, right? But in this particular video, this man talks about the fact that we are having the highest debt to GDP ratio in history in the US right now. It's actually happening right now, and there are definitely some serious problems attached to that. And I'm not sharing that information to inspire or to create fear. In fact, just the opposite. If you look closely at how I'm structuring and in my kind of the modus operandi that I follow in what I'm doing with pool funding, you'll notice that I'm very much about building community. Okay. More so than probably you see almost anywhere else. Okay. I'm about establishing, creating, and building community. Well, let's just say what would happen in a world where there's an absolute total collapse of the US dollar. So what do you guys think would happen? I'd like some feedback from you. What happens in that world where the US dollar collapses? You tell me.
Depression.
Okay. Anybody else?
There's going to be anarchy for a while. Then something else is going to step in to become like the new world's reserve currency. Hopefully cryptocurrency when that happens. Because cryptocurrency is very well positioned for that.
Okay. All right. So what do you think about the rest of the world? So in the US, it ain't gonna be fun, that's for sure. But what about outside the US? If the US dollar collapses, any impact around the world at all, or what do you think?
Yes.
I mean, what happens to the corporations in the US if the dollar collapses? What happens to those corporations? Stock market.
Or for the smaller and medium-sized corporations, they'll probably be gone. But the really large corporations, the really large conglomerates, and of course the banks, they've obviously been seeing this coming for years. So I imagine they're pretty well protected. They have some very good hedges against that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, they're kind of tied together, right? The US dollar and the US corporations, they're kind of like together, right?
Right, right.
If one goes down, the other's likely to go down too, kind of thing. Okay. And so yeah, that does create a problem for the people, right? For sure. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have a choice as to the response, right? So people then have a choice as to how they respond to, this is called a crisis. Okay. So if the people respond as individuals acting alone, and they are just driven by nothing but fear alone, would that be a good situation for society? What do you think?
It would be a very bad situation.
Okay. Anybody else want to concur on that? Hunter, yeah, we're kind of printed from the same cloth, but anybody else want to chime in?
Yeah, I concur, Ace. That would be bad. Run on the banks, that kind of thing. They'd shut things down and it would just be a mess.
Would the ATM still be spitting out money? What do you think?
No.
Only until they ran out of it.
Yeah.
There will be
I think
anarchy.
the crime rate would go up a lot.
What about the items on the store shelves? What's going to happen with that?
They'll be gone.
Mhm.
They'll either be
Writing,
gone
we-
or you
What
won't be able
what
to afford
what
them.
what about deliveries and truck drivers and all
The
that?
truck drivers won't be able to run their trucks for gasoline prices,
Yeah.
or gas won't be available.
I mean, Michael, you're kind of in that. You drive, don't
Yep.
you? That's what you do for a living.
Yes, I do. Diesel would be, I mean, society would collapse basically.
Okay.
And it wouldn't take long for it to collapse either.
Uh-huh.
72 hours, as little as 72 hours. After that, chaos ensues,
Yeah.
I
So-
guess we'd all be moving with Ace to the Philippines.
Well, perhaps.
Well, heading for Ace's
So
house.
you better start getting us some housing. You can rent it out for us.
There's
I'm getting
plenty
my
of jungle
boat
here to
ready.
go around. Well,
I'm
listen.
getting my boat ready.
Oh, good. You know, again, you know, what I see is the response is what matters. Okay, because based on that video alone, we've already crossed over the red line. That's already
Yeah.
it's history, right? It's behind us. The red line's behind us. We already crossed it. So it's just now a matter of time for the train wreck to just finally, you know, completely, you know, do what it's going to do, right? So what happens to pool funding? What do you think? Pool funding going to be able to survive that? If the whole, let's just say that like dominoes, the U.S. goes down and knocks down every other government, every other financial system, the whole world collapses all at one time. Pool funding going to be able to hang in there somehow? What do you think?
Yes,
No.
Well, as long as
Absolutely.
we have internet.
Yeah, who's to say we'd even have internet, right? If you have a big enough collapse, would we have that, right? So, you know, things are going to really depend. But here's the thing: that's not necessarily a future. We're talking about a potential situation here. That's not necessarily a future we have to live through, perhaps, but it's certainly a very challenging situation. Obviously, Japan itself has doubled that situation. Their numbers were like double of the current U.S. situation, and they had their situation decades ago. They're still managing to, they're still around, right? So anyway, my point is that in the case of a crisis, do you think that the skill of community building is valuable or not?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And what do you think you get here at Pool Funding? You have an opportunity to
Community.
learn that skill, right?
Yes,
Okay, good. And let's couple that, because we'll call that unity, okay? Let's couple that with love. And let's just say love can trump fear, right?
always.
Yeah, right. So, and if the people instead of going into total, fear and unnecessary panic, if the people like, okay, well, we'll just keep loving each other and keep on, and come together closer, take better care of each other, watch out for each other more, then maybe that would be a better response, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I just hope you start to see things from my point of view. I'm really looking at this from a high plane, looking at the situation. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm trying to say I'm better than anybody else. It's just that I care to know these things from that level. And I'm just trying to share some insights that I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not coming out, I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying that this is stuff I've been paying attention to for a long, long time. And I've had a lot of time to think about it. A lot of people haven't spent any time thinking about it, so I'm just saying, I think overall the best solution, if we want the best outcome, is we need to generate and create more love in the world, right? And then on top of that, more unity, community building, that kind of stuff is going to matter, because the world's going to do what the world's going to do, right?
Mhm.
And our response does matter. Okay, so let's jump into our reports. let me have you guys use the chat. And again, in your reports, what I want to see is a number first, and that number would be how many that you've actually had sign up on your team in the last 24 hours since the last time you reported. And then the usernames of the people that signed up in the last 24 hours that are on your team. Now, who's on your team? That would be anybody that's below you, okay? As far down as you are aware of, okay? So please put your reports into the chat now. And this is what I want people to see. The reason why I'm sharing this part of the you know, the pre-show, the reason why I'm sharing this in a video right now is I want people to realize what they're missing out on by not being a part of this pre-show and being a part of the contest reporting. Okay, so please put your numbers in. Now remember, if you had 0 growth on your team, just put a 0, but put the name of the last user that you remember that actually was the last one on your team to join us. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm getting some reports here. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. I'll give you a couple more seconds for you guys put your reports in. And then I'm going to share my screen. I've got to shrink this down a little bit. Let me first shrink down Zoom. So this is push these windows around here. That's what I want to do, like that. Move this out of the way. And then I can stop sharing my screen. Let's see here, close this. Actually, am I sharing my screen? I'm not sharing my screen, am I?
No,
So
No.
what I want to do is share my screen. Okay. Share. Okay. Now I'm sharing my screen. So this is I've been collecting these reports since the 24th, my time, the 24th, 24th, 25th, 26th so far. Okay. And let's see here. I want to get into the chat. So I'm going to have to go back and forth here. But anyway, as you can see here that Lydia was the first one to be reported to me as someone that came in recently. That happened on the 24th. And so far, the number of guarantees that I paid out to Lydia has been 7 so far. Okay. And then after that was Matt. And so far, I paid Matt 6 guarantees. Mitch, I paid out 6 guarantees. Jennifer, I paid out 6 guarantees. So we've only had like 2 that I was aware of on that day and 2 on this day and only 1 yesterday. Paula, 3 guarantees we paid out so far. So let me go into our chat now. Let's see what names we see there for today. Because obviously there's going to be a bit of favor going if I'm aware of people, because you can only imagine from my chair when I'm going through and I'm selecting, you know, where I can't give guarantees to everybody every day. You know, I'm working with the resources provided. Okay, you guys are providing the resources, and I am distributing those resources in the form of selling off, you know, coin. I've got 1 million coin, but I don't want to crash the price, right? So I'm not going to sell it too fast. I'm going to sell it, you know, just enough to make sense. Sorry for the loud motorcycles and all that. Yeah, really loud one. Sounds like a Harley. All right. Going to the chat. According to my chat information, there we go. We've got Dale. Dale is a new name I can put on the list. So I'm going to put his name on the list now. So let me just add that to my spreadsheet. Insert. Can we put Dale? And then we've got I think we've already reported Matt, or is that a different Matt? Is that the same Matt, Michael Casey? Or is that
Yeah,
a new Matt?
Steve said Johnny is the new person, but I marked it down as Matt
Okay.
brought him in.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna put Johnny then, and that's spelled Jhonny, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what time of day was that sign up taking place?
Signing up today, I believe. Yeah.
That was today. Okay.
Yeah, today, this afternoon.
All right, very good. So that gives us another 2. We've added 2. And so let me just share my screen again. Show you what I've come up with here. Okay. Share screen. Zoom updated the way you do things, so I had to kind of click a few different spots that are different. So now I can put my attention on, I see Lydia and Matt and Mitch and Jennifer and Paula. There's a number of other names that you guys put in there, but those were, the most recent growth, but it wasn't like in the last 24 hours. But in the last 24 hours, we got both Johnny and Dale. Okay. So now I'm going to put my attention there. I'll keep some attention here. Okay. For these people here, but realize, guys, that, on this day, I paid out way more than 13 guarantees. On this day, I paid out way more than 12 guarantees. And of course, yesterday I paid out way more than 3 guarantees. Okay. Paid out quite a bit more than that, actually. So, but at least I'm giving our newest people that I'm aware of, some favor. But if I don't know, because sometimes it's confusing, because there's more than one Greg, there's more than one Mike, there's more than one Dave, David, right? Sir John, right? At some point I'm going through and I don't really know for sure unless you guys tell me. So this is why I want people to come and be a part of our pre-show, because what I'm ultimately looking for, guys.
Ace,
Yes.
Ace, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've had a thought about trying to make it easier to tell like 5 Gregs apart or 8 Matts apart.
Sure.
Why don't you have people enter pretty much everything as Greg dash Greenville, South Carolina, or somebody dash a city or an area of the Philippines. But instead of just
eventually they're going to have to do that, aren't they? Because what happens is the computer won't allow you to use the same username more than one time. So
I'm just saying that would be an easier way if people did it that way, that you can keep track of people.
no, I appreciate the suggestion. Thank you for that. All right, so let me just go back to what I wanted to show. Go into Telegram. All right. So I've played this video a couple of times. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and, now that we're a little bit past the hour, I'm going to go ahead and start the official training, but I want to get onto a video here. It's up here a ways, apparently. Let's see, where did it go? I might have an easier way to find it. Yeah, I do. Let me just do it like this. Think I've got it here. There it is. Okay. All right. So before I play this, I want to go ahead and welcome everyone to our 10 at 10 for 10 training and leadership development. And, this is coming right after our pre-show. So I'm recording a chunk of the pre-show as well as the training today. So I want people to understand what happens before the training and how valuable that can be. If you've got growth happening on your team, you might really want to do that, because ultimately what I'm looking for, guys, here what I'm actually looking for is I'm looking for my 10 best leaders that I can really get close to and make sure that we get to the point where we're producing 10 signups every day on a consistent basis. 10 signups every day, believe it or not, could give me maybe about $1,000 of funding to use daily to, that I can extract out of the market to pay guarantees. So I could literally take maybe do like 100 guarantees daily off of just 10 per day. Okay. When you do the math, that's kind of how it works out. So me getting close to these people that are really making it happen, we really want to support our leaders in pool funding. Okay. Because they're the ones that we're really counting on here. All right. So let me show you the video here. I'm not going to play it because we're actually recording, but I'm going to just play little snippets of it. But this is called the allegory of the long spoons. Get a clue here. Jump ahead. They can't feed themselves. The spoon's too long. Right? They start fighting over it. It gets pretty bad. And then so somebody breaks their spoon, and then this lady, she reaches out to feed the other guy with her long spoon. And then she's a little shaky. The spoon's kind of heavy, holding it that way. And then the others start to get in, and then the whole thing kind of changes. And it's a happy ending, okay? And why is it a happy ending? Because community, because unity, because love, okay? We don't have, there's so much in the world that we're in that we have no control over. Can we agree on that, guys? We have no control over all this stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So, and there are people that really would like to control everything, but do you trust them? The people that want to control everything, how much do you trust them? Right?
We don't.
If you're like me, you're like,
Not much.
Stay away. But yeah, so we're not really looking for more people to put things into more control by the few, right? Because that apparently is not working very well. Okay. And things are coming up to a point here. Okay. And if you just have to open your eyes to see that. So what I would like to see is that people understand that what we're doing in pool funding is much like that allegory of the long spoon. And you start with a budget of about 200 USDT. Maybe you pad it with another $25 or $50 to cover the cost or whatever to, convert from paper money to digital money, maybe even a little more padding like that. That's fine. But basically the idea is it's the $200 plan, the $200 USDT plan for pool funding, but it just basically maps out to get you through the qualifying period. Okay. And then see if I'm coming back and I'm then providing those guarantees to those new people right away, right? Regardless of how the pool's moving, regardless of that, if I'm providing those guarantees right up for those new people, once they're qualified, they can make 3 payments on one $10. I'm going to say bill, right? One $10 bill, right? So basically, it's just $10 out of pocket, if you want to call it that way. It's $10 out of pocket to pay 3 accounts when you're qualified, correct?
Right.
Okay. So if I'm
Yes.
if I'm able to return, to get qualified, they're gonna be making 9 payments between their master account and their 2 sub accounts for 3 days. That's 9, that's $90, right? And if I can return, all of that or most of that, okay, right away to that new person, then that kind of gives them like 9 days to kind of breathe, right? But our training is like, look, you need to start doing these introductions right away. Like day 1, start introducing other people to us, and the funding guy, or to me, and pretty soon I'll have cloned myself many times over. There'll be a whole bunch of us playing that role of the funding guy. It's a pretty easy job. It's the main part. It only takes about 5 minutes, So, and then what happens is that from that point, the person then sees there's an opportunity here. They can be a part of it, and then they get once they make the decision to join us, and they start to get the warmth of the community. And I applaud so many of you. So many of you are doing exactly as I'm training you to do, and you're providing that warmth that I've been asking you to provide. So a round of applause to all of you that are doing that. Okay. Yay.
Yay.
All right. Now, we want more of that, of course, right? We want more of that. But here's the thing. Now, everybody's in their own situation, even as an American, $200 might be a chunk of money for some people, right? Other people, it's $200, right? And and for some people, they can add another 100 or 200 to their budget to operate within pool funding if they need to, but not everybody can do that. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the referral sponsor relationship matters so much. Because think about like this: what does the sponsor want from their referral down the road? What do they want?
Them to pay consistently.
How much?
$10.
Well, I mean, down the road. Let's go further down the road.
Oh, for the $100 and the $1,000 pool.
That's right. Okay. So
Yeah.
if you're a smart sponsor, you're thinking about the time and energy it takes to actually get that referral, right?
Right.
Hey, G Money, stay muted, please. I muted you twice. Okay, I had to remove him. Okay, G Money's gone. Want to stay muted. All right. So look, the sponsor would like to see that referral, that they put time and energy into bringing that referral on board, okay, and supporting that whole onboarding process. Even though they're not doing that themselves, we have onboarders to take care of that, but they're certainly supportive of that. But down the road, the smart sponsor is thinking about this down the road, thinking this person here will be sending me $1,000 every day. Is that the smart way to look at it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what if this person here today, they couldn't quite get with the program, they didn't get off to a fast start? I really want people, like some people say this is a marathon. I say, no, it's not. It is a sprint. You come into pool funding, we want you to sprint. We want you to get 2 people within your first day. That's a sprint. Okay. Do it. That's just a couple introductions, but make it happen. If it takes 2 days, 3 days, whatever, if it takes a week. So the idea, if I provide those guarantees, and then that gives them that room, right? But at some point, they're either going to have to come up with more money to kind of expand their budget, right? This is just being upfront and honest, right? Or, they might have to lean on their sponsor a little bit and say, I wish I could add to my budget. Can you help me out? Well, if the sponsor is smart, they're going, well, I'm thinking all about the time and energy I put in investing into bringing you on board, and what it took me to get you here this far and to go to replace you. Like, yeah, that's significant. And if I send you $10 and you make your payment, and then you send it back to me by making your payment, the sponsor hasn't really lost anything except for the opportunity to gain. Yes.
Right.
And it's only at the $10 level. We're not talking $1,000 level. And do you think the situation could also come up in the $100 and the $1,000 pool? Could it come up? What do you think?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what's the skin off your back if you give someone 1,000 and then within a short period of time, the 1,000 comes right back to you? What's the issue, right? If you have that established trust, right? That's what's going to happen. and they follow up and make it happen. Okay.
That would motivate the person to help them get their two people too.
Yeah. And then it's like, this is where this, this is why I want sponsors and referrals. We need them to talk to each other, right? See, this whole idea, sign them up and neglect them. Sign them up and neglect them is a retarded idea. And that's actually making the special people, the people that have that condition, that's actually insulting them. You okay? It's a step
Yeah.
below, it's the step, it's worse than that. You know what I'm saying? So listen, guys,
Still hungry?
we got the unity begins between the sponsor and their referral. That's where the unity starts. Okay. And then from there, there's that the level below those referrals, right? So the referrals of the referrals. And if you're a community builder, you're caring and you're concerned, and you would like to see some strength show up at that second level. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And take it another step.
Definitely.
What if we go like down to the third level? What if you get 4 and then each of them get 4? That's 16 on the second level, and then there'd be 64 on the third level. And I'm telling you, that will turn you into a millionaire, that structure. Okay. But it doesn't happen by itself. It does take training. It does take commitment, dedication, and it kind of takes the ability to see things from a bigger picture, not just seeing it as, paycheck money, because this is way past that. Okay. This is way past what you call paycheck money. We can't attach the employee mindset to what we're doing in pool funding. Doesn't apply. Okay. And I would love to see the entrepreneurial spirit take off. I like people to accumulate funding and have the entrepreneurial spirit come out of them and take that money and then multiply it with their own creative ideas. That's what I like to see happen, right? That'd be a great use for funding. Expansion, yes?
Mhm.
Okay,
Good point.
it's all good idea.
Yes.
But realize that unless we as human beings start to get a grip on the idea that community building matters, okay? Set aside all our concerns about, is this a Ponzi scheme? Is it a pyramid scheme? It's not, okay? How many times do I got to show you what those look like and what they actually are compared to what this is? You know what I'm saying? The shape is different. This is a different shape than this, right? That's different than this, right? A pool against a triangle, right? So look, and the fact that we've already pulled out tens of thousands of dollars out of the market is solid evidence that this actually works. And that's just with 1 or 2, 3 signups every day. And if we can do that on the small scale of 1, 2, 3 a day, imagine what can we do when it's 10, 20, 30 a day, or 100, 200, 300 a day. You realize how much positive pressure that's going to put on the price of our coin, and how much more we can yank out of it every day, and really make that pool spin a lot faster, right? And we all want that. But again, the principle here, unity, love. Without those principles, you're not going to do very well in anything. Not just pool funding. I'm saying anything. Why not embrace it here? You get paid to embrace it here. How about that? What do you think about that, Ken? Embrace the idea of unity and love and get paid for it while you're at it. What do you think about that, Ken?
It's beautiful, Ace.
All right. So that's what we're doing, guys. This is what it's all about. And that's why you should come to training. Okay. I'm here to lift your spirits and show you that we don't have to live in fear. It doesn't really matter what happens out there in the world. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're full of that love, and we're doing the activities of unity, and it's going to show up in all parts of our life. Once we start getting the habits built here in pool funding, those habits will actually, we might end up with a lot more friends. How about that?
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, right? If we end up with more friends that are, that are good people, right? Surround yourself with good people. It's a good idea. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for attending our training live. And for those that are catching us on video, we appreciate you too. Till next time, check us out, hit that subscribe button and the like.